Amelia Earhart was a remarkable American aviator who achieved numerous flying records and played a pivotal role in promoting the progress of women in aviation. She achieved the remarkable feat of being the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, as well as the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to the US mainland, while on a flight to circumnavigate the globe. Earhart mysteriously vanished somewhere over the Pacific in July 1937. Despite extensive efforts, the wreckage of her plane was never located, leading to her official declaration as lost at sea. The circumstances surrounding her vanishing continue to captivate and baffle investigators, making it one of the most perplexing enigmas of the 20th century. In today's video, we will be looking at what really happened to this great woman. Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas, as the daughter of Samuel Edwin Stanton Earhart and Amelia Amy. Amelia was born in the home of her maternal grandfather, Alfred Gideon Otis, a highly accomplished individual in Kansas. He served as a judge, was the president of Atchison Savings Bank, and was a prominent figure in the town. Earhart was born as the second child of the marriage, following a stillbirth in August 1896. She had a part German heritage. Alfred Otis had some reservations about the marriage and was not pleased with Edwin's career as a lawyer. Amelia Earhart's name was derived from a family tradition, honoring her grandmothers, Amelia Josephine Harris and Mary Wells Patton. Amelia always took the lead, while her younger sister, Grace Muriel Earhart, from 1899 to 1998, was content to follow along. Amelia was given the nickname Mealy and occasionally Millie, while Grace was called Pidge. Surprisingly, both girls held on to these childhood nicknames even as they grew older. Their upbringing was quite unconventional. Amy Earhart had a different approach to raising her children, not conforming to the traditional expectations of raising nice little girls. The children's maternal grandmother had strong objections to the bloomers they were. Despite Amelia's appreciation for the freedom of movement they offered, she couldn't help but notice that the other girls in the neighborhood preferred dresses. The Earhart children had an insatiable curiosity and embarked on daily expeditions to explore their neighborhood. During her childhood, Amelia Earhart enjoyed spending time with her sister Pidge, engaging in activities such as climbing trees, hunting rats with a rifle, and sledging downhill. Some biographers have described the young Amelia as adventurous and unconventional. The girls had gathered a fascinating collection of worms, moths, katydids, and even a tree toad. In 1904, Amelia Earhart collaborated with her uncle to create a homemade ramp inspired by a roller coaster she had encountered during a visit to St. Louis, Missouri. They ingeniously attached it to the roof of their family tool shed. After Amelia's well-documented first flight, she emerged from the broken wooden box that had served as a sledge with a bruised lip, a torn dress, and a sense of excitement. She exclaimed, "Oh, Pidge, it feels just like flying." In 1907, Edwin Earhart's transfer to Des Moines, Iowa, was a result of his job as a claims officer for the Rock Island Railroad. Amelia had the opportunity to witness her first aircraft at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines when she was just 10 years old. Their father attempted to capture his daughter's attention by suggesting they take a flight, but upon seeing the dilapidated flivver, Amelia quickly requested to return to the merry-go-round. She later described the biplane as a thing of rusty wire and wood and not at all captivating. Amelia and Grace, who later went by her middle name, Muriel, stayed with their grandparents in Atchison while their parents relocated to smaller quarters in Des Moines. Throughout this time, the Earhart girls were educated at home by their mother and a governess. Amelia later mentioned her deep love for reading and how she would spend countless hours in the extensive family library. In 1909, the Earhart children were finally reunited in Des Moines. It was a significant moment as they enrolled in public school for the very first time. At the age of 12, Amelia joined the 7th grade, embarking on a new chapter of her education. The Earhart family's financial situation appeared to be on the upswing after acquiring a new house and hiring 2 servants. However, it became evident that Edwin was struggling with alcoholism. In 1914, he was compelled to retire. He made efforts to restore himself through treatment, but unfortunately, the Rock Island Railroad never reinstated him. During this period, Earhart's grandmother, Amelia Otis, passed away, leaving behind a significant estate. In order to protect her daughter's share from being depleted by Edwin's drinking, It was placed in a trust. The Otis house was auctioned off, along with all of its contents. Amelia later reflected on these events as a turning point in her life, marking the end of her childhood. In 1915, Edwin Earhart was able to secure a position as a clerk at the Great Northern Railway in St. Paul, Minnesota. Around the same time, Amelia enrolled in Central High School as a junior. Edwin's attempt to transfer to Springfield, Missouri in 1915 took an unexpected turn when the claims officer who was supposed to retire changed their mind and demanded their job back. This unfortunate turn of events led Edwin Earhart without employment. Amy Earhart decided to bring her children to Chicago, where they resided with some close friends. Amelia explored various high schools in Chicago to find the most captivating science program. She decided against the high school closest to her home, as she found the chemistry lab to be lacking in sophistication. She eventually enrolled in Hyde Park High School, but had a difficult semester, as indicated by a yearbook caption that described her as AE, the girl in brown who walks alone. Amelia Earhart completed her education at Hyde Park High School in 1916. Throughout her childhood, she had always been captivated by the possibilities of different careers. She diligently collected newspaper clippings about successful women who had broken barriers in traditionally male-dominated fields, such as film direction and production, law, advertising, management, and mechanical engineering. She started her junior college education at Ogun's School in Reedall, Pennsylvania, but unfortunately did not finish her program. In the early 1920s, Earhart and a young woman friend attended an air fair held in conjunction with the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. She expressed her fascination with the event, which then sparked her curiosity to explore other air circuses in the area. One of the most captivating moments of the day was a mesmerizing flying exhibition performed by a legendary World War I pilot. The pilot spotted Earhart and her friend observing from a secluded clearing and swiftly descended towards them. "I'm sure," he said to himself, "watch me make them scamper," she remarked. Earhart remained steadfast as the aircraft approached. "I did not understand it at the time," she said, "but I believe that little red aeroplane said something to me as it swished by." On December 28, 1920, Earhart and her father went to an aerial meet at Daughtry Field in Long Beach, California. Curious about the world of aviation, she turned to her father for information on passenger flights and flying lessons. Earhart had a passenger flight scheduled for the next day at Emory Rogers Field, located at the intersection of Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue. Embark on a captivating 10-minute flight alongside Frank Hawks, a renowned air racer, for a mere $10. In the following month, Earhart enlisted Netta Snook's services as her flying instructor. The initial agreement was for 12 hours of instruction at a cost of $500. Earhart's diverse work experience, ranging from photography to truck driving and stenography at a local telephone company, allowed her to accumulate $1,000 for flying lessons. Her journey into aviation began on January 3, 1921, when she had her first lesson at Kinner Field, located on the west side of Long Beach Boulevard and Tweedy Road, now situated in the city of Southgate. Snook utilized a crash-salvaged Curtiss JN-4 Canuck aeroplane that he had meticulously restored for training purposes. In order to reach the airfield, Earhart had to rely on public transportation and then trek a distance of 4 miles on foot. Against her better judgment, Earhart's mother contributed a portion of the $1,000 stake. Earhart decided to cut her hair short, just like many other female flyers at the time. Against Snook's advice, Earhart decided to purchase a second-hand chromium yellow Kinner Airster biplane 6 months later in mid-1921. She affectionately named it the Canary. Following her initial triumphant solo landing, she decided to treat herself to a brand new leather flying coat. Because of the coat's unique qualities, she endured some teasing, prompting her to give it a more worn-in look by sleeping in it and staining it with aircraft oil. In an impressive display of skill and determination, Earhart took to the skies on October 22, 1922. With the Airster as her trusty companion, she soared to an astonishing altitude of 14,000 feet, etching her name in the annals of aviation history. This remarkable feat solidified her position as a trailblazer among female pilots, setting a world record that would inspire generations to come. Earhart achieved a significant milestone on May 16, 1923, when she became the 16th woman in the United States to receive the pilot's license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, or FAI. Earhart achieved numerous aviation records during her relatively brief career. In 1922, she achieved a remarkable feat by becoming the first woman to fly solo above 14,000 feet. In 1932, Earhart achieved a remarkable feat by becoming the first woman and only the second person after Charles Lindbergh to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. Her departure from Newfoundland, Canada, on the 20th of May in a red Lockheed Vega 5B and subsequent arrival a day later, landing in a cow field near Londonderry, Northern Ireland, is quite remarkable. Upon her return to the United States, Congress honored her with the Distinguished Flying Cross, a prestigious military decoration given for exceptional bravery or remarkable accomplishments during an aerial flight. She was the recipient of a prestigious honor, making her a trailblazer for women. Later that year, Earhart accomplished an impressive feat. She became the first woman to make a solo, non-stop flight across the United States. She embarked on her journey from Los Angeles and arrived in Newark, New Jersey 19 hours later. Additionally, in 1935, she achieved the remarkable feat of becoming the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to the mainland of the United States. Earhart was dedicated to advancing opportunities for women in aviation. In 1929, Earhart achieved a remarkable feat by securing third place in the All-Women's Air Derby, which was the pioneering transcontinental air race exclusively for women. This accomplishment led her to play a pivotal role in the establishment of the 99s, a global organization dedicated to empowering and promoting female pilots. She made history as the inaugural president of the Organization of Licensed Pilots, a prestigious position that continues to this day, advocating for women aviators from 44 different countries. Intriguingly, Amelia Earhart embarked on a journey across the world on June 1st, 1937, departing from Oakland, California. It was quite a fascinating endeavor as she embarked on her second try to achieve the remarkable feat of becoming the first pilot ever to circumnavigate the globe. She piloted a twin-engine Lockheed 10E Electra and had navigator Fred Noonan by her side during the flight. They embarked on a fascinating journey, starting in Miami and venturing down to South America. From there, they crossed the vast Atlantic Ocean to Africa and continued their expedition eastward to India and Southeast Asia. They arrived in Lae, New Guinea on June 29th. By the time they arrived in Lae, they had already covered an impressive distance of 22,000 miles. They still had a long way to go, with 7,000 more miles until they reached Oakland. Earhart and Noonan set off from Lae towards the small Howland Island, where they planned to refuel on July 2nd. This marked the final sighting of Earhart before her disappearance. She and Noonan mysteriously lost radio contact with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itzaka, which was anchored off the coast of Howland Island and vanished during their journey. President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized an extensive 2-week search for the pair, but unfortunately, they were never located. On July 19, 1937, Earhart and Noonan were reported missing in the vast expanse of the ocean. Many theories have been proposed by scholars and aviation enthusiasts regarding the mysterious disappearance of Amelia Earhart. The official stance of the U.S. government is that Earhart and Noonan crashed into the Pacific Ocean, but there are various theories surrounding their mysterious disappearance. There are varying degrees of plausibility when it comes to conspiracy theories. There is a fascinating theory that challenges the widely accepted account of Amelia Earhart's demise. According to this theory, she may not have perished in a remote part of the Pacific as believed, but instead, she was captured and allegedly executed by Japanese soldiers who suspected her of being an American spy. There have been claims of the new evidence supporting the theory, which has been now presented to the History Channel and the New York Times on separate occasions. Earhart has gained widespread recognition for her historic achievement of being the first woman to successfully fly across the Atlantic Ocean. In 1937, she embarked on a daring mission to fly around the entire globe. On July 2, 1937, Earhart embarked on a remarkable journey, flying the longest and most challenging leg of her around-the-world voyage. Her destination was Howland Island, a remote and isolated species of land in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. She failed to reach her intended location. The U.S. Navy was tasked with the mission of locating her, deploying a formidable force of 3,000 men, 10 ships, and 102 fighting planes to scour the vast expanse of the Pacific. Earhart's disappearance has long been a subject of fascination, with many speculating about her fate. After an extensive search, she was officially declared dead on January 5, 1939. The journey from Lae to Howland Island was filled with uncertainty, as this tiny island in the vast ocean posed a significant challenge to locate. In addition to the potential danger, the 2,500-mile journey was so lengthy that Earhart's Lockheed Electra plane would have a minimal amount of fuel remaining upon arrival at her destination. If she veered off course, there would be limited time to search for land before her fuel ran out. It is possible that Earhart could have opted for a destination that was closer and considered to be safer. There were other islands that were more conveniently located. Earhart's decision not to choose one of the other islands was due to the lack of hospitality she would have received. The islands were under the ownership of the Japanese government, and there was a noticeable tension in the relations between the United States and Japan. Interestingly, these islands played a significant role in the Japan-US tension. The Imperial Japanese Navy had a strong aversion to American visitors to these islands, going as far as prohibiting Americans from visiting as early as the 1920s, well before the escalating tensions between the countries. Interestingly, when the US Navy conducted their search for Earhart, they explored numerous locations but deliberately avoided these islands to prevent any potential conflicts. It's fascinating how nobody bothered to look there, which only fueled the conspiracy theories that would arise. The Japanese islands, commonly referred to as the Mandates, encompassed the Gilbert and Marshall chains. At one point, Germany had ownership over them. Japan, fighting alongside Britain in World War I, gained control of these Pacific islands and maintained their possession after the war concluded. Soon after, Japan implemented a ban on Americans and other foreigners from visiting. From the very beginning, forward-thinking individuals in the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps recognized the crucial importance of the mandates in the event of a potential conflict between Japan and the United States. It is fascinating to note that islands like Saipan and Tarawa became the locations of significant battles during World War II. In the 1920s, the commandant of the Marine Corps, John Lejeune, embarked on a mission to uncover the mysteries surrounding these islands. Collaborating with the renowned but enigmatic officer Pete Ellis, Lejeune sought to expand the knowledge of the United States. Curiously, Ellis embarked on a journey to these islands, assuming the role of a coconut oil merchant to provide himself with a legitimate excuse to explore the area. Unfortunately, Ellis was unable to send his report on the suitability of the beaches for an invasion. Tragically, he passed away before he could return and file his report. Ellis was a heavy drinker, and it appears that he passed away from natural causes. However, there were suspicions at the time that he might have been targeted by the Japanese due to his alleged involvement as a spy. U.S. Navy officers found it plausible that Earhart had been killed by Japanese soldiers for various reasons. Much of it revolved around the intense secrecy maintained by the Japanese regarding the islands. Last year, the U.S. Navy put forward a proposal to foster trust between the United States and Japan. The proposal suggested that the U.S. would have the opportunity to visit the islands, while the Japanese Navy would be granted permission to inspect American islands near Alaska. The Japanese declined the offer once more, further fueling the Americans' suspicions of a hidden agenda. Another reason the U.S. Navy considered was the potential interest of the Japanese Navy in Earhart's plane. The Lockheed Electra underwent significant modifications to become a flying laboratory of the latest innovations, with these advancements being incorporated into long-range warplanes like Lockheed's upcoming P-38 Lightning. The FBI and Navy were aware of the ongoing efforts by Japanese spies to gather information from the Lockheed plant. It is quite fascinating to consider the possibility that Earhart and her navigator may have veered off their intended course and ended up on a Japanese island. It is intriguing to think that the Japanese Navy, upon realizing the significance of their discovery, may have made the unfortunate decision to eliminate her, all while ensuring that no evidence of this act was ever recorded. However, considering the information we have about her journey, it seems highly improbable. Furthermore, considering all the elements of the conspiracy theory, it is quite fascinating to ponder how Earhart, with her plane carrying a significant load, would have required an ample amount of fuel to reach any of the Japanese-held islands, given the extreme distance. Based on the course she was on when her radio communications were last received, it would have been impossible. Unfortunately, the plane simply did not have enough fuel. It is highly probable that Earhart's fate was sealed as her plane met its demise in the expansive ocean, disappearing without a trace. What do you think happened to her and her navigator, Fred Noonan? Did they crash on a deserted island, get captured by the Japanese, or did something even more mysterious occur? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who love a good mystery. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.